It's do or die time in the NFL for Week 15. What teams will make it to the big one? What teams will be left to rot in the wasteland? Let's get started. Was this even a game? Did it even happen, or was it some weird football dream that we all collectively had, like Nick Cage in Dream scenario? Either that, or this game was so boring that it collectively put us all to sleep. Field goal after field goal raining down like drops of precipitation. The Rams keep their winning streak versus the 49ers alive, as well as their playoff aspirations. No Taylor Swift today? She must have saw the game was in Cleveland and said, no thanks. The Browns defense got an early 3-and-out, but it was undermined by our special teams muffing the punt, giving the ball right back to Patty Mahomes. Juju Smith-Schuster would run it in for the touchdown on a trick play. Boy, I can't wait for Jerry Jeudy to be on a better team next year. He's been playing really well and lighting up defenses. But right when you think the Browns might have a good drive going, famous Jameis throws an interception. He's back! The Chiefs would score on the next drive, and Myles Garrett would fall to the ground clutching his face. Not really sure what happened, but he did come back into the game later. Is it fourth down? Nah, you better throw a wobbly pass for 30 yards that might be intercepted. Oh, by the way, we only needed 1 yard there. Our defense shows up, and Butker misses the field goal. And then Winston throws another interception. Winston has to be playing for both teams every week. Two teams, two face. The Chiefs would score with Worthy after that, and the game was pretty much over. Nick Chubb, who just came back from that grisly knee injury. Man, it pains me to say this, but he's out for the season with a foot injury. All hope is lost as Dorian Thompson-Robinson makes an appearance, and he'll most likely start next week. The Browns had their moment this year. I'll fondly look back at that snow globe game, but it's over. The tank is officially here. Patrick Mahomes took a rough hit, and he has a upper ankle sprain, which I'm pretty sure is what he had last year. So we've seen this before, but it seems a bit more serious this year. He might miss some time. He might not, especially with the Chiefs' schedule coming up. They have like 2 games in a week because of Christmas. So we'll see what happens. Surprise! The Titans would score first with a run by Tony Pollard. The Bengals would then respond with a throw to Chase Brown for the touchdown. The Titans would run another one in, this time to Spears, not Brittany. There was a big man interception for the Titans during this one, and a big man touchdown by the Bengals. High T. Higgins would then get a touchdown this game too. He took a big hit while grabbing that one. The Toons then fumble the ball, and the Bengals scoop it up for a score. But wait! The player dropped the ball right at the goal line, and it's ruled a touchback. Boy, I hope that doesn't happen again today. Subtle foreshadowing. The Toons would then go down the field to have Spears, still not Brittany, run for his second of the day. Chase Brown would get another touchdown, this time on the ground, putting the Toons away, who had already benched Will Levis for Mason Rudolph. Oh, is that a new Will Levis meme? This game started off with Jake Haener at quarterback for the Saints? Seems he was more interested in voguing than playing football. It was quite the disaster for the future Calvin Klein model. The Commanders would get things going, though, with a crazy play to Scary Terry. He would end up getting 2 touchdowns in the first half, but would become infected with the drops later on. Oh, what could have been. He could have gotten at least 3 more touchdowns and well over 300 yards, but c'est la vie. The Saints did wake up a bit in the fourth quarter, with a little help from their friends in stripes. On their would-be game-winning drive, a referee illegally stopped the clock with 9 seconds left at the 1-yard line. The Saints would then score on the next play. Oh, the outrage that could have been if the Saints had converted their 2-point conversion, but it was no good. It's Mac Jones versus Aaron Rodgers, the silly little guy versus the Darkness King. It just so happens that the silly little guy would put on the Riz, putting up a bit of a performance, starting with a quick pass to Brian Thomas. The Jets wouldn't take too long to respond as Rodgers would heave one up for Wilson. That silly little guy, yeah, he also threw a pretty bad interception early on. We all know it's a facade, Mac. Your Riz is all cap. Rodgers went down on a sack, and the lineman almost broke his neck doing a backflip in celebration. Davante Adams, fresh off of eating a Taco Bell protein bowl, grabs one for a touchdown. He would also have a huge 70-yard touchdown bomb throw his way, too. Hall would get a touchdown later, and the Jags would need a game-winning drive. But the Rizless Mac Jones throws an interception. Womp womp. Can you say slaughter? For the past 2 weeks, a Giants fan has been flying a Fire Everyone banner over the stadium, with good reason. This performance would not help the mental state of Giants fans. It took a minute, but Mark Andrews would grab the first touchdown for the Ravens. It would be a rather quiet day for Henry, who, much like Samson, had his hair cut off and he lost some of his aura. Bateman had a good day, though. 2 touchdown receptions. Obviously, Lamar was the real story, though, throwing almost 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. He was on fire today, making that MVP race closer than we thought it would be. The Texans know what they're doing. They put the AC on full blast at 60 degrees today, knowing that Tua struggles anywhere below 70. This would not be a pretty game, as both teams struggled to move the ball. A few sacks here and there, maybe some scoring, but a whole lot of Tua tanking. Throwing 3 interceptions today, the final one being a real soul crusher at the end of the game. Sanders did show off how great of a kicker he is, though, hitting a 55-yarder. Oh, I also forgot to mention that Tua lost the ball, and yeah, that freezing rock just flung right out of his frostbitten fingers. The Texans would take this opportunity to throw a nice touchdown to Collins. He would get another touchdown not too long after. The Texans got away with a victory today, but the Dolphins' playoff chances aren't looking good. Unfortunately, during this game, a newly activated player named Grant DuBose suffered a serious head injury. He seems to be doing better now, but the situation was pretty scary on the field. I wish him all the best during his recovery. CeeDee Lamb would have a big day today, helped by Cooper Rush, who started slinging the ball like we all knew he could. Or maybe it's just because they're playing Carolina. Yeah, that's probably it. After such a promising last few games, Bryce and the Panthers regressed and got pounded. Young did have a nice ball to Cocker for a touchdown, though. The Cowboys would start to pull away after that. Not much else to say. It's a feisty matchup as 2 Super Bowl contenders battle it out. Josh Allen would go nuts, once again leading the Bills to an early score. The Lions give up the ball early, which gives Allen another rushing touchdown. Those Lions, they reach into their bag of tricks and pull out a trick play. And it leads to a touchdown by Patrick. Allen gives it the Cooks for a rushing touchdown after that. The Lions know what they must do. They give it to the big man for a touchdown. Cook will get another touchdown later, and after a Lions fumble, Shakir would grab another. Goff slings it to St. Brown for a nice touchdown. They're not out of this yet, because afterwards, Gibbs would run it in twice. Is there even a defense on the field for either team? Probably not, but this officially is the highest scoring game of the season, as the Bills recover the onside kick to put this game away. Both teams need to put some work into their defense. I don't think either team can keep up with this amount of scoring through the playoffs, but we'll see. Bo Nix was throwing a lot of picks today, and it would be Richardson who scrambles in for the first touchdown of the game. Savor that one, though, because the rest of the game was all Broncos on both sides of the ball. Sure, Bo threw 3 picks today, but the Broncos defense stepped up in every way possible. Oh, yeah, and Jonathan Taylor, he dropped the ball at the goal line, which pretty much started the Colts spiral of despair. Richardson would throw an interception, and Nick Bonita would catch it for a score.
And that one is intercepted! Bonita!
Sutton would put this one away with a final touchdown. In total, the Broncos scored 21 points in the fourth quarter alone. There was a point where this game was close. I don't know what happened at halftime, but the Chargers shit the bed and laid an egg at the same time. The Bucs really decimated them with 27 unanswered points in the second half. The chef was cooking, and he served up a full 4-course meal and a tasty dessert. The big news out of this game is the Barkley injury. He might be out for the rest of the season, maybe even the rest of the year. The Eagles didn't look too bad without him, though, testing out a new technique called throwing the ball. Wow. On the other side, Watt is out for the Steelers, which is a bad sign seeing as their record is so good with him and pretty bad without him. We'll see what happens. Josh Jacobs ate early with an excellent drive, capped off with a touchdown. Romeo Doubs would also get a touchdown of his own. The Seahawks couldn't get much going. Geno is looking a bit lost. He ends up throwing a floater right to the defense. They really screwed themselves and give the Packers amazing field position. They're playing at Seattle, and "Go Pack Go" chants could be heard all around. It was booming enough to be heard clear as day through the announcers' microphones. Geno goes down and hurts his ankle. It's time for Sam Howell to give it a go. But this game is looking pretty over for them. But that fine Y, Charbonnet, runs it in for a touchdown off of a Packers fumble. One final touchdown by the Packers, though, finishes this one off. Oh yeah, there were 2 Monday games again. Well, one game was a complete snooze fest, and the other one was a complete snooze fest for different reasons. The Falcons and Raiders game hardly had anything going on. The Falcons won by the wind between their ass cheeks. And it looks like Kirk Cousins is being benched by Michael Penix Jr. for the rest of the season. The Vikings and Bears game was a blowout. The Vikings dominated on both sides of the ball. Caleb Williams looked so defeated. The life sucked out of him like a vampire. Bro looked like he was ready to rise from the casket like Nosferatu at one point. Bears fans are coping pretty hard online, though, saying that he doesn't have a good wide receiver room.
Sure, Jan.